Hello and welcome to pmplounge.com. Today we are taking a look into preventive action, corrective action, and defect repair. These three are the major culprits when it comes to changes. These three are the causes of changes on your project, right? So let's understand what these three concepts are and let's understand the difference between these three concepts so that the next time you receive a change on your project, you can be sure of whether it is a result of a preventive action, corrective action, or a defect repair. And it's important to understand this concept. So let's get started. Like I said, it's important to understand this concept, right? Let's try to understand why is this important. Well, change management as a whole, right? It is not an important exam topic, not just an important exam topic, but it is also extremely important from your real life project management perspective. Every day, day in and day out, the one thing that project managers face are changes. And a project manager with strong change management skills can definitely lead the process, lead the project, drive the project to a successful closure. All changes have a start point. Like I mentioned, these three, preventive action, corrective action, and defect repair, are actually the causes of changes, right? So these could be, one of these could be the starting point of your changes, and it might not always be a new product feature. For an average project manager, a new product feature is what results in change requests. It's a change. It could be a scope addition or something like of that sorts, right? So that is why he or she creates a change request. But not all changes are a result of a new product feature that someone somewhere is requesting you, right? Also, to remember here, a point is that change management plan is an important element of the project management plan. So we have already done a video on project management plan. I'll link to it in the description below. Do check that video out, what project management plan is, what are the elements of the project management plan. I'll link the entire playlist in the description so you can understand from scratch what project management plan is. So change management plan is actually a part of the project management plan, and that is why it is important to understand this entire concept of change management, right? We have done videos on change management previously as well, and I'll link to that playlist in the description that contains all the videos on change management. Let's get started. Causes of a change. So, preventive action, corrective action, and defect repair are all causes of a change. These are the culprits. These are the main reasons why your projects receive a change request. Let's get into this. Let's try to understand and understand each of these three in detail. Also, I'd like to remind you here at this point that a detailed article that supports this video is available on our website pmplounge.com, and I'll link to that detailed article in the description below, so you can always go check that out, read that article out as well. Preventive actions. So this could be a result of risk management. When you're doing risk management, you might come up with preventive actions, CRs, that result from preventive actions. So let's assume the technology that the project team is working on is set to undergo a major upgrade. The project team will most certainly require training to continue the work on the project. So that's a risk you notice, right? That the technology that the team is working on is going through a major upgrade. That means for your project team to continue to work on that technology, your team definitely requires a certain training, right? Now, how is that resulting in a change, right? Because this training will obviously impact the baseline cost. You have already baseline your cost, the amount required for that project. It will be impacted. The schedule, right? The schedule might be baselined as well, might be approved by everyone, all the stakeholders of the project. The schedule is approved and your team is busy for the next 2 weeks in a training for this, which is a result of this change in technology, right? The major upgrade in the technology, right? then your schedule will also slip and your cost will also increase. So due to this training, right, you're taking a preventive action that your team continues to work, but then this is resulting in a change on your baseline cost and your baseline schedule, right? So this will obviously require a formal change request document, and this will need to be approved by the CCB, the Change Control Board, and only after that you will be able to, send your team for this training because of the change in the technology that they were using. So that's how preventive actions can lead to change requests. Now, defect repair. Now, it sounds simple, right? And it actually is simple. It is also known as rework because when you're repairing a defect, what you're basically doing is, patchwork, doing certain amount of rework, doing certain amount of work that shouldn't have been present in the first place, right? So this is the work required to rectify the defects that may come up during the course of the project. So there could be certain defects that may come up during the course of the project, right? You always, my software engineers here will agree, right? They have defects, errors coming up all the time, right? So when you rectify those defects, that is rework. That is what you're doing. That's what that is what is known as defect repair, right? Now, fixing a substantial error from a piece of code, right? If you have a piece of code and there's a substantial error in it, it will require additional time and could also lead to additional cost. So we are not talking about minor bug fixes here. We're talking about major errors that a piece of code might throw up, right? Something that you thought would work is not working and it requires, let's say, a week of rework. A week of rework is definitely going to toss your schedule and the project cost out of the window, right? So defect repair can also lead to major changes, and a week of rework obviously changes the project schedule, it obviously changes the project cost, and it obviously requires a change request to be raised and approved by CCB before you can implement it. So defect repair is thus a major contributor to changes, and this is where change comes from. Let's move on to the third point. And the third point was corrective actions. And corrective actions, let's carry over the example that we took in defect repair, right? So while fixing an error is defect repair, that fixing an error in code, in a piece of code, that's defect repair. But making sure the error doesn't occur again, that is also known as root causing and fixing it, that is the essence of corrective action. So corrective, repairing defects is one thing. To make sure that you don't face such defects again, that is what corrective actions is all about. Fixing the root cause, that is corrective action. And a lot of people get confused between defect repairs and corrective action, but I couldn't have explained it in simpler terms than this. Facing errors in your code, that is, and fixing it, that's defect. Root causing it and making sure that you don't face such errors again, that's corrective actions. That's corrective action, and both of these require change requests, right? All right, let's move on. Now this slide is all about the difference between preventive actions, corrective action, and defect repair. So let's look into that. So preventive actions make sure that things don't go wrong at all, right? Remember, I took the example of risk management. What is risk management? Risk management is basically making sure nothing goes wrong, right? So any changes that come up from preventive actions, they are basically making sure that things don't go wrong at all. They don't go wrong in the future. But corrective actions make sure that once something has gone wrong, it doesn't repeat itself, right? We talked about this. We talked about, root causing an error and fixing it, right? So the error, the defect doesn't repeat itself, right? Something doesn't go wrong again. That is corrective action. So corrective action is a reactive approach. Of course, it is a reactive approach, right? You faced an error, you fixed it, and then you root caused it to make sure that you don't face it again. It is a reactive approach. But preventive action, remember, it emanates from risk management. It is a proactive approach. Now, preventive and corrective actions are taken to avoid variances in baselines as well as the project management plan. Meanwhile, defect repair is done to fix a deliverable. So if there's a fix required in the deliverable, that's where your defect repair comes into the picture. But your baselines, your project management plan changes to that. That is where preventive and corrective actions play a vital role. So that is all that we had in this video. Hope you learned something new. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, youtube.com/pmplounge, and check us out on our social media, facebook.com/pmplounge and twitter.com/pmplounge. And as always, do check out the website pmplounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. Thank you.